All right, we're gonna try this again. I think I'm situated now. In about 10 minutes or so, Coach Morrison will join me. Right now, we're just gonna talk about the recruiting process, how to get prepared for the recruiting process, because a lot of young kids these days don't understand the recruiting process, and neither do a lot of parents. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes, let a few people join in, get about 3 or 4 viewers, and then I'll go from there. When you come on, please add, like, share, ask questions, everything. I want this to be an interactive feed, more so than just me talking. Yes, I am going to talk, but I like to get questions and get feedback. Thank you for those that are joining in. Please press like, share. Give me everything you need there. A few likes and a few shares if you want. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and begin talking about the recruiting process. The recruiting process is something that takes place in just about every single major sport: football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball. It is really major. I don't know how much recruiting goes into golf and tennis, but I would imagine there's some degree of recruiting that goes into that, because you have to be wanted by a school to be able to come play a sport. But we'll stick to talk. We're going to talk about the recruiting process in general, but definitely for football and basketball. Football and basketball have you have the early signing period, and then you have the spring signing period, and then you have different ways to get involved in the recruiting process. Normally, your child is, or your student athlete, I should say, is a high quality athlete that definitely is being recruited, or is exceptionally above and beyond most of their peers, I should say, most of the kids they're playing with or they play against, but definitely their peers. For me, I didn't understand what the recruiting process was until about the 10th grade, maybe even going into the 11th grade, and then it got real heavy after my 11th grade summer. The recruiting process is important, number one, because when these coaches come to see you, you should be thankful that they're taking their time out. Yes, in AAU season, they have two what you call live periods. They have two now. They're separated as 2 weekends for boys in the spring, 2 weekends for girls. It's really called an evaluation period. This is where the coaches are going to come. They're going to watch. They're definitely coming to watch people who are already on their radar for the most part, and then they're also coming to see who they can put on their radar, or who they can put on their recruiting board for future classes, who's doing what, somebody's already told them about a player, so on down the line. As far as AAU goes, if you're not playing, especially when you're in the 8th grade to 11th grade, if you're not playing in a live event where college coaches are courtside or all through the gym, you're playing in the wrong events. Let's just face it. If a college coach comes to a high school or regular public school game, at this point they're usually already recruiting you, and they're just trying to finish off the deal, or they've already closed the deal, you've already verbally committed or signed, and they're just coming to see you play as one of their prize athletes that's coming in next year to them. You do see some at private school games, but a lot of times you're not going to see college coaches at high school games. Reason being is because during the evaluation period, they can see hundreds of thousands of players at one time, because there's so many people playing. Like the EYBL circuit when you go into a gym, especially their Peach Jam event that's in July, you probably got 100 college coaches sitting courtside because you have that many teams that are playing. You have that many players that are being recruited. You have that many players that they see and they like because it may not be on their board, and they got to add to their board because they may miss out on somebody. So it's so much that goes into the recruiting process. But with the recruiting process, you are being watched. So in this evaluation period that's coming up, players, parents, coaches, educate your players and your parents. So this video is to help with that. Players, the number one rule you got to understand to me is team basketball. Now, if you go out and you score 30 a game and you're not passing the ball, I can guarantee you that most schools are probably going to mark you off their list because nobody wants a selfish basketball player. I mean, you're just taking shots just because. You don't have to score a lot of points. Coaches want to see teams who win. Coaches want to see players when they're in adverse situations. Coaches want to see players respond to the adverse situation. Coaches want to see how you respond when you're benched, and so on down the line, because at some point it could be you recruit A versus recruit B, and they're just in a toss-up, and they got one scholarship left, and they're trying to figure out how to separate you. Let's just say your academics, you both are 4.0 students. You both got 1200s on the SAT and 25s on the ACT, but your attitude is horrible when you get taken out of the game, and you respond by going back and forth with your coach. But the other kid looks at his coach eye to eye, nods his head, says yes sir. Whether they like what is being said or not, they say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and they walk onto the bench and sit down, grab some water, shake everybody on their teammate's hand. Sometimes it can be just as little as, did you shake everybody's hand when you came out the court? Sometimes it can be just that simple. And I know that is definitely Coach Morrison is joining in. I'm about to join him in. I know that's real simple, but that it could really be as simple as you not shaking somebody's hand. Those things are big. I look at, when I watch highlights, I look at the team's bench. The team's bench is excited. Like, those kids never get in the game, but they're over there coming up. Okay, Trey, I got you. They're coming up with stunts. The kid gets a dunk. They might be over there acting like one kid's bowling, and he throws the ball. He bowls into all the other kids, and they fall down. Hey, out, Fran. So I'm going to take a little break from what I'm talking about, and I'm going to bring in Coach Morrison, and I want y'all to hear his perspective. I'm trying to figure out how to add him. Somebody help me here. I got to get him in here because he's going to join my live. He told me he would, so bear with me. Let's see here. Let's see if this works. I think that might have worked. The bench is important. Ty, what's up? If those that are in Arkansas, if you want your kid to be a great quarterback, please hit up Ty Forte. I'm good, Auntie. Just trying to school people a little bit here and teach them about the recruiting process and things that need to take place within it. Trey, help me out. How do I add another component? I need to add somebody to this. So I'll keep talking until I can. Coach Morris, I'm trying to get you on. I know you're there. I'm just trying to get you in here. I know it's a way it can be done all the time because I really want your perspective in on this thing. But I see if this works. Okay, it's saying I don't have any viewers yet, but I know I do. Who just joined? Let's see. What's up, Coach Cooper? State champion down there at Gray Collegiate. They're doing great things down there. Coop, I think, only lost 1 or 2 games on the JV team, and yeah, he's doing big things. Mike, I sent you an invite. I think it'll add you in. Check through your comments to see if you got the in. You got it, man. I'm gonna keep talking until I can get Coach Morrison on here. But so this evaluation period that's coming up, the guys' period comes up first. The girls' period comes up April 24th through 26th. I know that because I'm coaching girls this summer, and I'm gonna be at a live period in Charlotte on the in the IE League for the Insider Exposure League 2020. We got a couple stops, but all of them are live periods. But so you have to, as I was saying, it could be as small as you didn't come off the court and shake everybody else's hand, but the other kid came off the court, and y'all could be playing against each other, and you could be on the same team, but they can come off the court. You come off the court, and you don't shake the hands of your teammates. That can be an issue. So you make sure that you're doing all the little things. What's up, Blue? Make sure you're doing all the little things to keep yourself successful. Even when you don't like something your coach says, even when you're the best player on your team, you can't be the one barking at the players. Let the coach do that. I know that's hard sometimes. I know as a high school kid for myself, when it was hard when people didn't play on my level, I would get frustrated, I would get mad, I would get angry. But coaches that were even recruiting me, they were like, these are things that we look at. Again, as simple as you shaking the hand, or you standing up, or you cheering on your teammates when you're not in the game because you're in foul trouble. Are you sitting on the bench mad, or are you cheering on your team? I think there's just not much, man. Trying to educate here, I need some help trying to get a guy who I got tagged in this, trying to get him on live with me. I ain't Facebook literate like that, so I'm trying to figure this thing out. But it could be as simple as those little simple things as you didn't cheer on your teammate. You didn't clap for him. You didn't stand up. You didn't go get water for your teammate when your teammate got water for you when you came off the court. Those things are important. Student does come first in the athlete. Student comes before athlete, so you have to do your job in the classroom. I don't care if you are the best player in the world. You could be the number one player in the country. If you do not have the grades, you will not go to school to play. You ain't gonna play. You're not gonna play. Like, if you don't go to school, you're not gonna play. Not go to school. If you don't have the grades, you're not going to go to school and play anywhere. You can go to JUCO, but that's great. That's another option. But if you go to JUCO and then still don't do the job, then you wasted 2 years of your life. Or if you go to prep school and you still don't do the job, you wasted a year. Now you still got to go to JUCO. So then at the end of JUCO, if you haven't done what you're supposed to do, you've wasted 3 years of your life on absolutely nothing. I'm trying to get, again, I'm going to take a pause. I'm trying to get Coach Mike Morrison in. Guy I know well from DC. He can talk about the recruiting process, and then I want him to kind of talk about his pathway to the NBA and how he got there. He'll tell you that he wasn't the most talented guy on his team, but the hard work and the work ethic is what made him better than the rest, and he did all the little things to get to the NBA and was drafted in '89, I believe, by the Phoenix Suns. He spent some time with the Bullets. Y'all know him as the Washington Wizards. And he also spent some time with the Philadelphia 76ers. So it shows that, like Derek Fisher, I'll use him as an example too, that people may know him a little more, but you need to get to know Mike Morrison. He's tagged in this. You have to understand, you have to understand Derek Fisher was not the most talented kid in the draft. He worked his way to be the number 27 pick, I think it was, in that 96 draft, the year that Kobe got drafted. Him and Kobe came in together. The Lakers actually drafted him, whereas the Hornets drafted Kobe and traded for him, which they knew. But Derek Fisher's from Little Rock, Arkansas. He played at Parkview Magnet High School. He played at University of Arkansas Little Rock. Nobody knew who he was, but he was a hard worker, under the radar. He led his team. He was a leader. He was vocal, but he wasn't vocal, but he led more so by example. And you could see that even as he went on to win 5 NBA championships. Derek wasn't really a vocal leader. He was vocal, but he was more of I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to knock down these shots. I watched him when I was in the D-League. When I say he would just sit in the gym and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, he would sit in the gym and shoot. And I watched him make 27, 28 NBA three-pointers in a row with no hesitation and no problems. It just is what it is. I'm still trying to figure this out, y'all. I know it seems off, but I sent him an invite. Maybe he don't know how to add. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing either, but I'm gonna get him on. So yeah, you have to work hard. So sometimes you're just a hard worker. You may not be the most skilled player. Dennis Rodman didn't start playing basketball until he got to Southeast Louisiana University, which is a D2 or D3 school. It might have been D3 at the time. It might be D2 now. Dennis Rodman didn't have no offers coming out of high school. Dennis Rodman went to Southeast Louisiana, walked on, and made his way to the NBA. Why? Because he had hard work. So back to my recruiting process ordeal. Kids, be mindful. One thing, we talk about the kids being mindful. The biggest thing in this evaluation period coming up, parents, please be mindful of what you say in the stands. Be mindful of what you say. I'm not saying don't be involved in the game. I'm not saying don't cheer on your kids. I'm not saying don't get upset because of a bad call. But be mindful of what you say and how you react to not only to the referees, not only to your coaches, but to the referees. Because guess what? As much as these coaches are out recruiting your kids, they are recruiting you too. They want to know if they're gonna have your kid and sign your kid for 4 years, they got to deal with you for 4 years too. So they don't want to deal with the crazy parent that's gonna be in their face all the time, complaining about this, complaining about that, complaining about this, complaining about that, ready to take your kid away because things aren't going their way. Say you're picking on the kid, whatever it may be. Parents, you are being recruited. I'm telling you now, you are being recruited. Why do you think coaches come and do a home visit? That's a part of it. Talking about the student athlete being recruited, then you're talking about your parent being recruited. They do home visits not because they want to, or not because they have to, I should say, but because they want to and because they want to find out what kind of life is the kid really living in. How does the parent interact with their husband or their wife? How does that parent interact with the other kids in the house? How does that parent interact at home with the student athlete they're recruiting? They want to see how you're being raised. It also, yes, because they're recruiting you, but also if your kid signs, it helps them to understand how to coach your kid. In a recruiting process, I'm not going to go recruit. Hey, Coach Spencer, I'm not going to go and recruit. For example, Coach Spencer, who just logged on, he recruited Hank Gathers and Bo Kimball. I'm not going to go recruit Hank Gathers the same way I recruit Bo Kimball. They're two different people. You can't do it. Now, you can sell them on the thoughts. I'm trying, Coach Morrison. You can sell them on the thoughts of trying to come play together, but it doesn't work that way. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me try this one more time. Anybody that's Facebook literate. It's pretty bad. Coach, try to go out and come back in. Coach Morrison, try to go out and come back in. Let me see if that'll help me out a little bit there. See if that'll work. So these kids, they're not coming to recruit. They're coming to recruit, but they want to know. It says I don't have any viewers, but I see people watching, unless everybody's leaving. Coach Morrison, try to sign out and then pop back in, and when it says you're watching again, maybe I can get it up. They're coming to your house to see how to recruit you, continue recruiting you. And then when you come to their school, they want to know how they can reach you and how to coach you, because you can't coach two kids the same way. For me, Coach Felton couldn't figure it out, but he called my daddy. My daddy was able to tell him, listen, this is what is important. And Coach Felton, when Coach Felton understood what was important, that's how, he was able to coach me and not recruit me, he was able to coach me. Coach Felton knew that when I came out of school, there was things I was looking for out of high school. I wanted to be on the NCAA tournament team. At that time, I wanted to play for a black coach. I also wanted to be able to get some playing time as a freshman. Western Kentucky offered me those things. I enjoyed my time at Western Kentucky. Coach Felton ended up, after we won championship, ended up moving on to Georgia, and I think some of you know who Dennis Felton is. He moved on to Georgia and a few other places. He's been a scout with the NBA and so on. But recruiting is important. Parents, when they come to your house, be hospitable. Show hospitality. They want to see it. They don't want to come to your house and you're just rude, because I'm telling you, when they leave, they're going to go outside, call the assistant coach, and say, hey, you can take such and such off our board. Coach Spencer, chime in if you're still watching. Tell me some of your thoughts. Type in the comments some of your thoughts about the recruiting process. Coach Morrison, if you're back on, just type in what the recruiting process was like for you and how it worked for you. We might have to go through it that way. So you have to be mindful, again, that when they come to your house, they're coming to see how you're raising the child. They want to know what kind of child they're getting. Because on the surface, in a game, I could be the best kid ever. I could be the best kid ever on surface. I'm going to be the best kid ever because you're watching. That college coach is watching. I don't want to blow my chance. So I'm going to be the best kid ever. I'm going to have a good attitude. I'm going to be cheering on my teammates. I'm going to high-five my teammates. I'm going to make the extra pass that I wouldn't probably normally make if no coaches were in the gym. I'm going to make that extra pass. So with that being said, you have to understand that coaches really want to know who you are outside of basketball. They want to know who you are. Dennis Felton wanted to know who Jamal Brown was. He didn't want to know who Jamal Brown, the basketball player, was, because that was easy to see, which is why he was recruiting me. They wanted to know who I was as the player. They want to know if when you get out, they get you and they see where you live, where you come from, oh, they're trying to make it out. They can make their own assumption, and usually it's a positive assumption. Hey, they're trying to get out. They just want to. They're trying to make it, so they're gonna come work hard. They're gonna come do the things we want to do, or they're gonna figure out everything he did at the gym 3 months ago was just a facade and it wasn't real. Okay, parents, again, I'm telling you, if you wonder why your kid ain't getting recruited, parents, ask yourself, how do you act in the stands? Are you going crazy because your kid ain't getting playing time? Are you going off on the refs? Are you in the ref's face after a game? Are you in the coach's face after the game? Are you chewing your kid out in the middle of the game? Are you fighting and arguing with other parents in the stands? I'm telling you, coaches watch these things, and when they're making their notes, no, they don't have a notepad most of the time. Most of them have their cell phone, and they have multiple cell phones because they have a work phone and a personal phone. And usually they're on their personal phone, on their work phone, in a group chat with their other coaches, and they are definitely sending out. They're definitely sending out texts saying, "Hey, that kid, Sean John, we can't get. We got it. You can go ahead, move on to the next kid. Tell me how he's playing, so I come watch him. This kid, Sean John, his parents over here in the stands. They cutting up. They act, we're not going to deal with that for 4 years." You'll never know they're saying that about your kid or about you, because they're just simply sitting under the basket texting, taking notes. They are taking notes, whether they're taking it on their phone, whether they're taking it mentally, or talking to another coach, they're taking it. Hey, were you recruiting that kid? Yeah, I was recruiting that kid. I don't know if I'm gonna keep recruiting him. I said, do you see his mama over there in the stand? You see his daddy over there in the stand? Yeah, I can't do that. Or his brother over there in the stand? Nah, I'm not doing that. If it was a different process, they needed me to prove I could do the academic work first. A year of honor roll my senior year, 4 classes, over 2 semesters with nothing lower than a C, B preferably. Current recruiting process is started via social media. Yes, sir, you are absolutely right, Coach Morrison. He just said a part of his recruiting process was it was different. He said they wanted him to prove that, he could do the academic work first. So he took a year of his honor roll. He took a year of honor roll his senior year with 4 classes over 2 semesters and preferably nothing lower than a C, B preferably. Nowadays, he made a good point. Now, the current recruiting process is started by social media. That's another way. Thank you for giving me that point, Coach Morrison, because I forgot all about social media. Social media will cost you a scholarship. The things that you post, because believe me, when a coach starts recruiting you, they're going to go follow you on Twitter. They may not follow you on Snapchat, but they're going to follow you on Twitter. They're going to follow you on Facebook. They're going to follow you on Instagram. They're wanting to see, they may never comment. And you on Twitter, you may never know they're following you. And you may forget that they're following you on IG or Facebook. They may never like anything, but they're watching everything you post. So if you're cussing every other word, talking bad about your high school coaches or talking bad about your teammates, it's a good possibility that they're watching that and they're like, well, if they talking about them, I can't imagine what they gonna say about me when it's all said and done. Social media kills a lot. So if you walk around throwing up gang signs on social media, you standing in a picture with a bunch of people that's holding drugs, smoking dope, drinking alcohol, and so on down the line, I'm gonna have to assume that you're associated with that. There's no place in college sports for that. There's no place in athletics for it, period. High school, college, pros, nothing. There's no place for it. So be mindful of what you say on your social media. Parents, back to you again. Be mindful of the things that you say on your social media. Coach Morrison put in there on his thing, like, yes, academics, he just proved to you academics are important. And I can show you how for myself. My senior year, after I signed with Western Kentucky, my college coach, after I committed, Coach Felton came to Spartanburg High School. He went to my guidance counselor, pulled me out of class. He pulled up my whole transcript. I had some C's, a couple D's in classes. He was like, nope, I need you to put him in that class. I need you to put him in that class. I need you to put him in this class, that class, this class, that class, and this class. You need to retake all those. And I had to do exactly what he said. Not prove that I could do the work, but I had to make the honor roll all year long. So now that my SAT score could match up with my GPA. So my GPA went from 2 point something to 3.0. Coach Morris is, oh, okay, I got you. Those were, those were college classes. Oh, he said his college classes, he had to take 4 classes over 2 summer semesters. If he didn't pass, he didn't get in. So basically he was saying he had to make B's to prove that he belonged. Like, he got drafted in the NBA, but he had to prove that he belonged academically. It doesn't change. That was in the 80s, and now we are in 2000s. It don't change. You have to do the academics. They make dummy accounts for Snap, and most programs have a GA that search recruits accounts. Exactly. He said coaches are going to make a dummy account. They make a dummy account, meaning they make an account under somebody else's name, but they follow you. You don't know as the coach. You just think it's somebody following you as a fan, and here you are putting crazy stuff on your Snap. Or the GA, who you don't know, is just a student. You don't know him or her from Adam's Apple, and you out here posting bang, bang, boom, bang, and all that, and then they're going back and reporting to the coach because it's their job. Hey, coach, let me show you this. You can't hide what can be found. You can't hide what can be found. So take this recruiting process very seriously. And your SAT has a lot to do with your recruiting process too. I missed out on a couple scholarships because my SAT score wasn't completed or it wasn't a qualifying score when they came to offer me. 2.3 is the most important number you'll ever hear in your life as a college athlete or as a high school athlete. If you're going to college, 2.3 is your number. That means you got 2.3 GPA in all your core classes, and I think that's the bare minimum you can have. And you can make a what's up, Coach Burgess? You can make a 2 point. You can have a 2.3. You can make like an 850, 900 on SAT, and that's as low as you can get, and you'll qualify. The lower that GPA goes, the higher your SAT score has to go, or the higher your ACT score has to go. Period. Again, you see back in the 80s, the thing they wanted to do, they were taking care of the student part first. So they were making sure he could do the work academically. I went to summer school my first semester right after I graduated high school. I graduated high school May 24th, 2002. May 31st, 2002, I was in my car driving to Western Kentucky. June 2nd, 2002, I was starting my first class. I was starting my first class of summer school, sociology and psychology. First 6 weeks. It is different than you taking a 16-week course. Your social thumbprint is permanent. I've seen top 10 players lose offers because of their social media posts. Oh, so it's gone up since I was in school. So now it's a 2.5 and you got to have a 950 on the SAT. So it was a 2.5, it was an 850. So they've upped it now. So that's important to know. Thank you, Coach Morrison. That's good information. Like he said, he's seen top 10 players in the country lose scholarship offers because of their social media posts. Your social media is your life. It pretty much details your life. Some people depict their whole life on social media, and kids, that's just what they do with TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other social medias that I can't think of. But right now, TikTok is the hottest thing. Snapchat is what they're using. So if you don't have a 2.5 in your classes such as math, science, history, English, yeah, George, I know you've seen some get there too. Math, science, English, history, if you ain't got a 2.5 in those core classes, you can have a 2.0, but you're going to have to make like 1250. It just is what it is. Some people don't have that problem. Some people do. I know for me, I had to get that 2.5. So when I was in school, I could get that 850, which I ended up with a 950. So I still would have qualified even in today's time. But it wasn't easy. I had to go back and, after I passed the SAT, I had to go back and do what Coach Felton did, came back and retook all those classes and do it all over again. Don't give yourself extra work your senior year because you're trying to qualify for school. My motivation was, find your motivation. My motivation was, I didn't want my dad to pay for me to go to college. So whatever your motivation is, kids, man, find it. Make sure your parents ain't got to pay, because if you might still be able to go to the school if they have Prop 48s. And I don't know if they still have Proposition 48s, meaning you'll get to come and go to school all year long. You got to pay for it, but you'll go to school all year long. You don't get to practice with the team. You don't get to travel with the team. I don't even think they acknowledge you as a member of the team, but the coaches do keep a tab on you because they know you're there. The academic part is probably the most important piece of it, and then I would put social media right behind it, because your athletic ability doesn't matter anymore. They know Steve Davis was a Prop 48 at Auburn. I almost ended up being a Prop 48 at Western Kentucky if I hadn't got these grades right. But your athletic ability has already spoken for itself. That's why they're there. They're not coming to see you because you make a 4.0 in the classroom. They know you can score the basketball, or you can play defense, or you can rebound, or you block shots, or you're athletically gifted with a tremendous upside. They know these things. That's why they're there watching you. That's why they come see you play. But that student part of it, You got to get those grades. You got to do what you got to do. Number one. Number two, your social media is your thumbprint, like Coach Mike said, and you got to make sure that you're keeping that up. Number two, number three, your parents. Y'all are important. Your social media is important too. So that goes. Your social media and your kids' social media is important. Not only will you lose a scholarship because of your social media athletes, but you will lose a scholarship because of your parents and their social media and their lifestyle. I mean, it is what it is. I know it sounds wrong, but if I'm a coach, I'm gearing to invest hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars into you to come to my school. I got to know that I can deal with you, and I got to be able to know that I can trust you, because I'm not going to be around you 24/7. I'm around you for 2.5, 3 hours of practice, a 45-minute workout session for your individual workout, maybe an hour weight room session, and then, you got breakfast check. Most schools do breakfast check, at least we did. So I'm gonna see you at breakfast, but I'm not micromanaging you. I'm trusting you to go to class. Am I gonna send my graduate assistants, my graduate managers, and GAs, all those to check your classes? Absolutely, I'm gonna check your class, but I'm not coming to hold your hand and walk you to class. I'm not waking you up. I'm not setting your alarm. You have to be able to show some accountability. Honestly, I mean, coaches get paid to win. They get paid to recruit high talent. They get paid to win, to make sure their kids don't flunk out, make sure their kids graduate. So they have to know that you're going to graduate if they're recruiting you. Or you're not going to put the school in the news for something negative. What's up, Coach Tyler White? These things are important. They seem like little bitty basic things, but they're really major things in so many ways. So the first point is making sure your academics are right. Separate yourself. Academics got to be right first. Number two, separate yourself. That's what my number two is. Separate yourself. Because if you and recruit A are even, something has to separate you for you to stand out for that school to offer you. If it's only one scholarship that school is offering, something has to separate you. Keep your social media accounts. 3, keep your social media accounts under control and keep them good. Keep them professional. Okay? You're going to have followers because people are going to know who you are. Number 4, control your parents. Help your parents. Parents, control yourself. Especially at these games, I'm telling you, during the evaluation period, you will lose scholarships for your student athletes if you're in the stands acting a fool. And you'll never know why the school stopped calling you, because they really don't owe you an explanation. Anybody else that's still watching want to add to my recruiting process stuff? I really think this recruiting process thing is it. Now, the recruiting process, I will say this while I'm waiting on some people to pop up questions. The recruiting process to me was absolutely fun. Enjoy it. You get 5 visits. You get an unlimited number of unofficial visits. You get 5 official visits. And if you're getting recruited by like Florida State and University of California, go to these places and enjoy it. You go because you want to see how you fit in with the team. If you like the atmosphere, go and enjoy it. It's fun. Enjoy it. Like parents also, especially single moms. It is 2.3. Okay, it's still 2.3. It's still 2.3 GPA with a 950 SAT score. Oh, no, you good. I would still keep mine at 2.5 just so therefore we're safe and we don't have to worry about whether we're borderline or not because we got 2.3. If we got 2.5, we know we in there. So I still go, yeah, it's 2.3 by the standard, but we're going to stay with that 2.5. I forgot where I was at. Oh, parents, especially single moms. And single dads or dads in general. So let's just keep it at parents. Do not believe everything that you hear. If it doesn't come out the coach's mouth, the head coach or one of the assistant coaches, it's probably not true. Thirdly, Dads, I know we can be enticed, and I know it's tough. Do not take any offers. Do not take any impermissible benefits. LeBron James got suspended because a friend gave him a throwback jersey in the amount of like $400. The NCAA is not playing about that. But if something didn't come out the coach's mouth, do not believe it. Ask the coach. Ask questions. Make a list of questions. I know they said, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, I know that when Asia Wilson was being recruited by South Carolina, she had rules. No colleges could call her after 9 o'clock. Her mom and daddy said that clear. You can't call me after 9 o'clock. There's nothing we got to talk about after 9 o'clock. You can call me anytime before 9 o'clock. You can send me a text message anytime before 9 o'clock. Set rules, set boundaries. That also, not only are they recruiting you, you can recruit the school. You can recruit the coaches. If they can't follow simple rules, why are you going to go to a school that can't follow one simple rule that you ask them to do? Which is why she chose South Carolina. South Carolina never texted her past 9 o'clock. I don't even think they texted her past 8 o'clock. They respected all of her boundaries and wishes, and everything that her and her parents set in stone, set in place. Now, I think she was going to go to South Carolina all along, but the point of the matter is she set boundaries. Recruiting process. Enjoy it. Be mindful. And the evaluation period is coming up for men, for boys and girls. Don't go and play outside of your game. Play your game, and everything else will take care of itself. Understood? Any more questions? Any more comments? This has been the morning, mid-afternoon edition of Full Court Press with Coach J. Coach Morrison, I appreciate your input. Coach B, you already know I appreciate your input. And all those that were watching, thank you for watching. Please press share, like, share it to another entity, wherever you may be, wherever you see fit to share it. If you have questions, my inbox is open, or post comments. I will answer them, and I'll get back to you and keep this thing rolling the best I can. Appreciate you tuning in.